continue. Blessed be.
I would like people to realize that perhaps this button is pushed in pagans because we're very big on freedom. And we're very big on talking about it. And yet, we and our ancestors have lived in this country a long time. The end of the Civil War was in 1865. Schools were not desegregated until 1954, almost 100 years later. My friends, let's clean up our own messes.
Exactly. On that note, I will say one thing, and then we're going to take a short break and ask anybody who wants to call in. We're going to continue to discuss this. I'm going to talk a little bit to Anthony from Hands of Change. And what I want to tell you guys is forgiving is not necessarily forgetting.
No.
Okay, because those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. Hello, say it with me. Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. Very good. Now that you've got the lesson, remember, forgetting is not what we're saying. We're saying forgive, let it go. Okay, you did it to me, big deal. But I remember the circumstances. I will keep my mind alert to the warning signals, but let's forgive. Enough is enough. Okay, we're going to take a break. Stay with us. We will be back for some more. Hopefully we stirred up enough controversy to get you guys to call in. And if not, we'll just work on it some more. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us and welcome back. Again, the number here is I am sure that our producer Bill will be putting that up on the screen very shortly if it isn't up there already. Magic. I love magic. It's a wonderful thing. Anthony from Hands of Change Coven is going to tell us a little bit about his group and give us an idea of where he stands with the whole papal accepting responsibility thing.
Hands of Change Coven is a coven based in central New Jersey. We are for inclusion. We hold open full moon circles. And we are basically governed by a body of core members, which are the elders within the coven. And as to the papal apology, it kind of rings with me like childhood. I mean, it may not seem that they're giving much right now, but each one of us had to crawl before we could learn to walk, before we could learn to run. And that's what's happening here. We're taking baby steps here. We will take whatever they can give. And I love that they are actually making this effort to bring people together.
And if we break their legs now, they're never going to walk any more before than after they crawl. So what are we doing here? The other thing I also wanted to bring up very quickly, because we've been yammering so much that we really don't have a whole lot of time left in this segment. But I did want to ask Eric to talk about a letter that he got wind of a little while ago. It's not the papal letter, but it's pretty neat. And I think it's a reflection of where the Catholic Church is really starting to come from.
Well, a friend of mine is a shopkeeper in Newburgh, New York, and she had a couple of college students walk into her shop, excuse me, to get some information on what Wicca and paganism was all about. This is for a class on comparative religions. And so they were invited into an open full moon circle. They were taught a little basic techniques on how to feel energy and how to basically move it along in a very general way, something they were able to bring back to their class for their presentation. Well, the instructor sent a letter back to us thanking us for our openness and our ability to welcome them into our shop and to be able to provide them with the information that we gave them. This letter of thanks, which was incredibly well worded, comes from the instructor of the Comparative Religions course at Mount St. Mary's Catholic College in Newburgh, New York.
Pretty amazing, guys.
I was astounded.
This is absolutely amazing, and it's a really wonderful indication that this is a new millennium. It is a new beginning. It is a season of renewal for all of us. And I feel very strongly that we need to start waking up and realizing that we're not just the little Hands of Change coven, the little Church of Caduceus, the little crew that puts together Craftwise, a bunch of people who are just doing their little solitary thing. Covens across the country do work. Every night in this country, there's a coven doing something. Think about that. There's a coven doing energy work right now. Not what we're doing, something different, but they're doing energy work. Healing work, or self-improvement work, or just energy classes, or whatever they're doing energy work right now. There's a lot of us out there, and we need to realize that we go not only across the country, but around the world. And this is something that the folks, all of us here, have talked about, and the Craftwise crew has talked about. The speakers have talked about it, the vendors have talked about it, a lot of our attendees have talked about it and talked about it with us, that it's a very small world out there. Technology has made this a very small planet. It's a little rock that we live on. It's not that big wide world anymore. And we need to start taking a much more global view of what we do, of what our position is, and get an idea of where we can fit in to this global thing, this global community that we're part of. And I think that the acceptance of the Catholic Church for taking responsibility for things that they've done to other people in the past, I think that this letter from a Catholic university thanking a group of pagans and Wiccans for having the tolerance and having the courage and having the intelligence to take in folks and teach them a little bit and show them what we're all about. That thank you is a wonderful indication that there are people out there.
Well, that's what the basis of the letter basically described, how they were thanking us for our openness, being able to take them in, being able to tolerate them, take their questions, answer them as best as we could, give them a little insight with a little bit of personal experience, and being able to send them back to say, this is the basic. There's much more to this. And actually, interesting thing is one of the students was actually more interested in.
It's an amazing thing, and what we have to realize is that what we do touches everyone in the global community. Every little piece of energy work that we do touches someone, touches their heart, gives them strength, gives them hope. And this is a real important thing to remember. What you're doing doesn't just affect you. It ripples out. As Frank has always said at the end of our circle, it ripples out like ripples in a pond. When you throw a rock in a pond, there are ripples that move out from it.
Here's a quote I have on a poster.
Beautiful.
You have to cast a stone to make the water ripple.
Exactly. And that means that we need to take the first step forward and meet people halfway. And remember, somebody told me something recently, and I think it was you, last night on the phone.
Oh.
That we forgive each other, not country to country, but person to person. Not religion to religion, but person to person. Start within yourself and reach out to one other person. And then that person reaches out, and then that person reaches out. And the next thing you know, we're all sitting around looking at our governments and our leaders going, what is your problem? We don't have a problem with these people. Why do you? And that's the way it should be. Because we are all getting closer and closer and closer. So we will talk to you all later. Thank you. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. And thanks for the opportunity for me to babble, guys. We'll talk to you real soon. Take care.